At number 10 we have I Don't Believe My Twin Sister. This manhwa is about Laurencia Aztain, the richest woman in the world who's been successful in both work and beauty. She worked all day and night to protect her one and only family. But her weak twin sister Arusha is planning otherwise. Her twin sister Arusha have been fooling her since day one by saying that she has an illness that made her body weak. But in fact, her twin sister is cooperating with her fiancé to get all properties and wealth. At the moment when Laurencia was forced to turn back on her pain and remorse from what happened, she had gone back 11 years before her engagement. And the time she wakes up from the sorrow she felt from getting betrayed by her loved ones, she decided to take her revenge and be a sister who's no good sister from now on. All this plan also include the idea of her marrying the Grand Duke Verdian, who's the national hero of the past. This manhwa have been sitting in my recommendation for so long. It give the sweetest revenge you'll ever thought when you get betrayed by your loved ones. So if you're looking for a manhwa with a slight and sweet revenge, then this manhwa might be for you. At number 9 we have Marriage and Sword. This manhwa is about Ernaj's Tragael, the eldest daughter of the Targael house who is known by being the sword of the empire. But her family comes into ruin when her father and mother died, leaving her and her little brother. In their family the talent of sword is being passed down every generation, and surprisingly to them, she got the talent of the sword instead of her little brother who has a smart mind. This made her go into undercover to prove the needs of her brother who's studying dearly. She worked as a guild assassin who take orders in exchange of money, and by that time she got famous and meet a fiends in her way. And when she's in a mission, the Grand Duke, who is known as the son of Emperor and a slave, is right there having his hard time in escaping and treating his wound. And the moment she helped him is the moment when her life started being part of the Grand Duke's life too. This manhwa is really funny at some point because the Duke thought he was a gay when he started to get attached to the guy who helped him very much. Well, the plot twist of this story is that Ernaj's disguise herself as a guy because no woman ever touch a sword in their kingdom. At number 8 we have Don't Trust the Heroine. This manhwa is about Medina, a person who got reincarnated into a novel as a villain supporter. But she decided to change everything by supporting heroine and make her life good. And also in order for her to survive this new life that was given to her. But she came to know that villain was nothing compared to heroine, because she falsely accused her for treason that she didn't even commit it. After that false accusation she died by making foolish decision by supporting the heroine, thinking that this might give her the life that she's been dreaming of. And somehow she didn't died and obtained another chance in past. So she decided to support the villain and change her fate by doing unexpected things in her second life. This manhwa is so funny and has a really great things happening. It gives you the fun manhwa where you enjoy reading and wanting for more chapters to come out. At number 7 we have Not Knowing the Betrayal of That Day. This manhwa is about Tessa, a very kind woman who was betrayed by her trusted old friend and gets sold to an old man. So then she became a wife of noble and was treated very poorly. After countless insults and suffering from all the people around her, she somehow survived for 7 years. But she finally passed away due to continuous assaults that she gets from people at the mansion. After dying very cruel death, she cried and regretted her choice, asking for a chance to change her life and making the people who did her wrong suffer. And suddenly she woke up hearing a voice that made her shock, and that voice was of her friend who sold her. It only means one thing, that she was not dead and instead she came back in time after dying by hands of that nobleman. This manhwa is really cool, knowing what she'll do with her fake friend. Although it has some really scary scene in life that some of us been exercising. But the idea of stepping on your feet when that kind of time comes is really priceless. At number 6 we have The Way That Knight Lives as a Lady. This manhwa is about Estelle, a loyal knight to their kingdom who got stabbed by his closest friend Khalid. He's a knight who has a really good image in the kingdom and has a lot of friends that he trusted so much. But when Khalid asked him to talk about something and he hugged him, that's when he got stabbed by his closest friend. And when he opened his eyes, he saw a really beautiful room with full of things that is unfamiliar to him. And he thought that maybe Khalid was just joking the time he thought that he got stabbed by him. But when he faced the mirror, she saw a lady who's he never seen in his life. And when he asked about what happened in the kingdom she used to serve and protect, he find out that her kingdom was destroyed after the war that broke 3 years ago. And with that she started to investigate what actually happened in the war, and how did the Alsa kingdom got defeated. This manhwa is kinda weird. Maybe for some of you, but for me who read Weird Boys Love manhwa, this one is kinda basic concept. But the whole plot of the story is really good and the revenge was satisfying. At number 5 we have I Adopted a Villainous Dad. This manhwa is about Amel, A normal person who got reincarnated as the heroine who got abused her entire life then got a sudden death. And in order for her to shift that destiny of her, she picked that who will adopted her as the daughter in order for her to lives as comfortable as possible. This manhwa has a really funny and unique concept. Knowing that our Villainess is the one who's going to pick her own dad. I just think that it's so funny in some ways. At number 4 we have a saintess who was adopted by the Grand Duke. This manhwa is about Dana, a person with a great holy power who gets abused by the so-called saintess of their kingdom. She got kidnapped and trapped in the cell where the saint get her blood and drink for her to receive the power of the holy power too. But when Dana gets a chance to kill herself by beating of her tongue, she was reincarnated to the time when she's in the training room of the temple where the saintess gets educated as a scientist, and during that time she decided to kill herself, but in order for a saint to get killed, she needs to get killed by the hands of the Grand Duke, and she started to play a play where she make the Duke kill her. But the Duke knew what she's about to do, so he ended up being the adopted daughter of the Duke after his sons beg for a little sister who they want to cherish and protect. At number 3 we have Please Give Me the Pacifier. This manhwa is about Selena, a person who got betrayed by her most trusted friend who she take care from the very beginning. Selena is the head of a magic empire that she built personally and make one of the strongest force in the kingdom. But because of her disciples who vanish her from the world by doing some strange dark magic, she got reincarnated to the family of heroine, the Duke's family who is known as the house who make a really strong swordman in the kingdom. She was born as the illegitimate daughter of the youngest son of the Duke. At first she got treated badly by the servant, but because she earns the trust of her family, she started to be the most precious thing to them. This manhwa has a really cool and funny plot that you guys might enjoy every time you read it. At number 2 we have Vengeance from a Saint Full of Wounds. This manhwa is about Lua, a saint candidate who has a strange of power of the holiness where she can people but the wounds or pain of the person she heals will be passed on her. She work as a saint candidate since the church took her as an orphan who wander around the kingdom. And because of her strange power she was called by the other saint as a fake saint who uses dark magic. But with her best friend and crush, she don't need any validation in life. But that's the time before she gets betrayed by her best friend who took the victory of healing her crush from a very severe damage from a demon. This made her look like the bad guy from the Yes of everyone. And with that she meet the prince who is also known as person who got hated by everyone. During time she discover her true power and never treated anyone who do not respect her as a saint. This manhwa is really interesting because of the power of our saint that is low-key unusual for a saint and villainous manhwa like this. At number 1 we have I Don't Want to Be Loved. This manhwa is about Rihan and a lesson, a person whose mother died one day and just after that her father brings an illegitimate daughter. She tried loving both of them but in the end they used her for all their gains, and after she got sold in disguise of married to the prince, she died because of the previous queen and her stepsister who plan on taking her position as the crown princess. This little stepsister of her is the one of the person whom she loved and treated nicely because of what happened to her mother. But she then got betrayed by both the prince and her little sister. However, she only wished to get a chance to change her miserable death and strangely. And when she came back to past, she reads how to know what major steps she took to change her fate and while crushing her enemies like her family. This manhwa is really good and has an amazing plot.